Right. Let's see if we can get some more done in Daimir. Insert accurate Russian pronunciation here. Oh, new consent forms from Twitch. Jolly good. Ah, 3 new subs. Thanks for dropping in, Vice80, Radius 66 and Jimmy Boo. Now, as ever, I'll be using the Cheat Happens trainer with infinite fuel, infinite health, and time of day lock. Just as always, because life's too short. I wonder if Taimyr is a real place, come to think of it. Let's have a look. I presume so. After all, Michigan and Alaska both exist. Now, what shall we do today?
Activated.
There we go. Lake Taimyr. And that is... yeah, that's well up on the tundra. Not a lot there. If anything, it looks less sparse here. Well, let's go and see if we can recover that watchtower. Yesterday my system crashed just after going through and discovering a bunch of watchtowers. So when I loaded back in, the watchtowers had disappeared off the map, but their visibility zones had gone back to being hidden, including all of the areas I'd discovered by then, which was slightly irksome. Interestingly, it also appears that later explorations with the watchtowers reveal smaller areas. And that's where the road goes. Ninja rope. Ninja winch, that was it. This is a mod vehicle, which is fun in many ways, but it's also got a much larger winch radius, which is a pain in the neck. There we go. Ja men tjena. So Jimmy Boo is a fellow lingonberry. Now, where shall we head next? Yes. Let's follow the path. And go once more into the deep dark woods. Yeah, that'll do nicely. I mean, these roads were not exactly done for high-speed cruising. Lingonberries. Yeah, in English it's one lingonberry, several lingonberries. Or one jar of lingonberry jam. Apparently there is a botanically correct term as well. But I can't remember what it is, and neither can anyone else, so... But I'm sure Wikipedia will be all too happy to assist. Let's see. Vaccinium vitis idea. Lingonberry, partridgeberry, mountain cranberry or cowberry. Obviously, we use them much better in Sweden than anywhere else, because here we make them into jam and put them on pancakes. Or take 3 of them and stick them on the side of a car, which is equally good. Now, where might the next tower be? I presume it'll be here somewhere. That could be promising. We'll have a look. Yep, there we go. Yes, come on, launch observation. Yeah, those salted caramel twigs really are quite hazardous. Then there's that little lingering hit of salt after a while. Anyway. I treated myself to an ice-cold cola just now. Managed to get hold of lime yesterday, and I do like a bit of lime. I finally got round to doing some video editing this morning, by the way. I've been planning for a couple of weeks now to make a little video to fish for extra shifts at work. And you know the sort of American trope of both Troy McClure on The Simpsons and if you've ever watched World's Wildest Police videos, there's the guy Sheriff John Burnell who always did the intros to them. So I did a sort of spoof of that. You know the ones. I'm Sheriff John Burnell. And then the little spiel about crime does not pay and walking through a cluster of police cars and helicopters and things, and as a SWAT team runs past. That's the one. You may remember me from Day at the Museum, Revenge of the Expo, or of course the last 3 seasons of Harbour Security. Basically treating the whole thing as a casting video. I'm going to regret going way off into this dingy little corner, aren't I? Congratulations, you have discovered the middle of nowhere. Let's just... I can't be bothered changing gears, so we'll just winch a bit. There we go. Well, at work we've got Workplace, which is basically a corporate Facebook. And so I just posted it in the sort of main chat part of it. What, Facebook? Didn't we all? This is the problem with infinitely long winch points. Just to check, by the way, I presume everyone can still hear me fine and we've got both game audio and microphone audio. Problem with this mud, of course, is that there's nothing for the vehicle to actually catch on, so it flips up. To be honest, I hadn't expected to see an all-terrain vehicle pole dancing today. So we'll recover it. Who said what? Oh, and I did some mucking about with voice mod. Because you never know when you're going to want a fatuous sound effect, isn't that right? Alas, not yet. Now, let's see, what was it I was planning to do? Oh yes, Zimnogorsk. Where did we find the gate to Zimnogorsk? No, the ones I applied were... Well, there's the three sort of intro themes that I commissioned a bunch of years back from a mate of mine. He mostly does techno stuff now, but he's a very good funk bass player as well. He goes by the name of Hurt Deer, professionally. But yeah, he composed and recorded 4 little riffs for me. So there's this one. And there's this one. And there's this one. There we go. Kind of Seinfeldy, this one, isn't it? Then, of course, if I'm doing a quiz and someone gives a wrong and obvious answer, and if I arrive at a scenic location like this, I can stop the engine, have a nice comfy seat in the cabin, and listen to the surroundings. And of course, if I were to drive too far out into a lake, there's not really much other option other than dive, dive, dive. Because if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. I haven't done much selection in my sound effects yet. All depends on what I end up using. So I've just chucked in a random selection for now. For a long time, for instance, on my mobile phone, I had this sound as a text message alert. Watch your ears, it can get loud. And that is the sound that you hear on the Swedish military's Dart 380 data reporting terminal when connected to a Radio 180 encrypted radio system. And it's a sound that is music to my ears after spending my military service listening to it. And of course, if I see something stupid, there's always this classic old Total Biscuit quote.
You fucking what, mate?
But I think I probably won't use that one much. At least not without seeing if I can license it. In Sweden. Off and on since I was a kid. Yeah, that was just the factory. Oh no, a 5G mast. So yeah, in terms of time, I suppose I've lived probably half my life here, maybe a bit more. Great irony is, of course, that according to certain... Never mind, let's not get into politics. I think I can probably nip past here. So yeah, I'm hoping that there's a garage in Zimnogorsk. I could look it up on the map, but I can't be bothered opening a browser window. And also, where's the fun in exploring then? I use the map to uncover the vehicles I want to unlock and the upgrades, but other than that, it's kind of soothing just trundling around semi-randomly. You see what I mean about the last 200 meters? Let's see, what's the best way? I should go and rescue those vehicles at some point too. So, what news today? I've got my day planned out for tomorrow. I've got a map to create for my RPG session tomorrow evening. Oh, jolly good. Knowing you with adequate anti-pandemic precautions, I would presume. I've hopefully got a friend of mine coming over next week, going to go for a walk. That's the good thing about people who work in healthcare, they know how to stay safe. Yeah. Exactly so. Hubble, bubble, toil and trouble. No, double, toil and trouble. Fire burn and cauldron bubble. That was it. Yeah. That's the spirit. It still amuses me that just last year I was sending out 50 bottles of hand sanitizer, though not for sanitisation purposes. I think the downside, of course, with Facebook's algorithms is that the who gets shown the updates is, of course, very selective now. So when I do go live, of course, it doesn't get quite the spread I wish it did, but 'tis but a matter of time. Rome built in day, and so on. Yeah, exactly. And of course the people Facebook shows it to aren't necessarily the people who are interested in watching somebody stream a quite slow-paced driving simulator. Yes. Oh, but you know, if you post this copyright warning, then Facebook won't be able to steal your pictures and, I don't know, sell them to the Russians or whatever. Or hey, if you put in the PIN code for your credit card here, you'll figure out what your Harry Potter wizard name is. Good heavens! A truck has fallen across the road. I wonder how that might have happened. The frightening thing is that people who should know better keep doing it anyway. People who, for instance, work in information security keep doing it. The Mark 38 really does have a shockingly tedious horn. Drivers must take extreme caution when manoeuvring through turns. Nonsense! Filth and lies! That's why we've got recovery trucks. Let's see. One day I need to start upgrading my computer a bit. Bigger PSU to make it a bit more reliable, maybe. And maybe, just maybe, a few more SSDs. Now, where's the quickest way? Show me the way to Zimnogorsk. Solid state drives. Like a hard drive, but quicker. That sounded wrong. What's over there, I wonder? Na 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 na, zemný gosk. Na 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 na. Ninja winch! Oh, come on, it's just a tree. I mean, if they didn't attach them at the root, they might find it easier to shift them. So obviously the sane thing to do would be to go round, wouldn't it? The fun thing to do is to take a run up. I wish this game had an option for a chainsaw. Yeah, we'll go round. Since it obviously wants me to. It worked in my Land Rover once. You know, not to sing the praises of Land Rover or anything. 'Twas a dark and stormy night, and I was driving home at his unsuitable parking, Captain Tractor. And I was driving home along a major thoroughfare in Scotland. My house, or rather my dad's house, but my family house, was up a hill to the right, and it would have meant a right turn across a blind bend in the middle of the night in a rainstorm. So under those circumstances, what I usually did was I'd turn onto the old side road that the main road replaced, and I'd go along there, come out the other side, turn out onto the main road, and then I'd have a nice easy left turn. So I did, and drove across along this squirrely little road until I got to a tree lying straight across the road. Now, I could, if I had a tow rope, have just shackled my Land Rover to the tree and pulled it out of the way. But I didn't have a tow rope. If I'd had a chainsaw, I could have cut up the tree. If I'd fancied getting out into the rain, I could have got out and pulled the tree out of the way. But none of those were really applicable, and it was rainy. And I was tired, and I had chips getting cold. So what I did was I put it into low range. And drove over the fallen tree. got the job done. Got home on time. Had a delicious chippy. I noticed on the latest episode of QI, Sandy Toxic had discovered the secret knowledge of the non-brewed condiment. Those of us who've been buying it from chip shops for decades, of course, already knew of it. For it is cheap and delicious. To all intents and purposes, of course, it is vinegar. All the same ingredients, well, most of them. Except, of course, interestingly, alcohol. Because it's assembled from the chemicals themselves rather than brewed, so there's no alcohol, which makes it safe for people who've got alcohol-triggered medication and whatnot. Or, of course, those who, for religious reasons, can't have alcohol. But the idea of being pedantic enough to go, oh, this isn't vinegar, it's non-brewed condiment. No, it's vinegar. Really. Even I'm not going to be that picky, and I'm picky about my vinegar. Yes, there we go. It's a wee bit swampy. I really enjoy the mud deformation in this. Job done and Christmas tree collected. Where are we? Right. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a gateway up there. So we'll ease on down the road. And check over here. Well, I saw a guy on YouTube, an ex-Royal Marine, who's been doing a bunch of gameplay and reaction videos and things, and he's gone from essentially a blank canvas to over 100,000 subscribers now in maybe 2 or 3 months. I think being able to say that one's, say, a Royal Marine and so on, and do reaction videos on military stuff is probably a more interesting hook than fat bloke who plays the occasional game. Really fun channel too, so, you know, well deserved. But it does make me tempted to do reaction videos. Only downside is nobody's going to watch a reaction video without facecam, and I don't like facecam. Yeah, I've got everything set up for facecam. I think I might give it a go once I've got a green screen. It's a gateway, but Does it go to Rift or Zimnogorsk? No, I don't want to go to Drowned Lands. Drowned Lands is tedious. I've been to Drowned Lands. It's not interesting. I wish to go to the Zimnogorsks. Rift over there. What's this crater? Ah, cool. Yeah, I mean, Zoom and stuff I don't have a problem with. On the grounds that it's people I know. But particularly given my line of work, putting my face online isn't something that comes easily. How on earth do you manage to flip a digger? That takes some real dedication. Not saying I wouldn't try. No, I do not wish fuel. I wish they had a really good chuckable version of a rally car in this. Or a bowler wildcat or something. Just for the sake of being able to fling something absolutely madly along these roads. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got a whole shopping list of cars I'd like to see in this game. Obviously a good tracked vehicle, but the engine can't quite cope with it yet. Ninja winch. mean, imagine pelting along these roads in a Delta Integrale. Zimnegorsk! At last.